Some preachers teach that according to 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 2 to 24, we were already healed 2000 years ago when Jesus died on the cross. So can we just confess and receive our healing? Is it always God's will to heal us?
Right. That's a very good question. Now, the scripture that you referred to, 1 Peter 2:24, basically Peter is quoting Isaiah 53 there. By his wounds you have been healed, right? So it's in the past tense, and many of the prosperity preachers say that you don't have to pray for healing. All that you have to do is to believe, because Jesus has already provided healing 2,000 years ago. So that's what they say. Now, by the way, let me say this. I do believe in healing. I pray for healing. I've seen God healing several people. However, what some prosperity preachers say is that it is always God's will to heal us. Every time you pray, if you pray with faith and if you're making positive confessions, you have to receive healing. That's what they say. Okay? And they say that you don't have to pray for healing because it's already provided for in the atonement. So all that you have to do is to receive it by faith. Okay? So that's the teaching. Also, they say that since Jesus died on the cross, he freed us from the curse of the law. And what is the curse of the law according to them? They would say poverty and sickness. Since Jesus freed us from the curse of the law, they would say that we must be freed from poverty and sickness as well. But the question is, when is that going to happen? Will it happen completely on this earth, or will it happen in the coming age? That's the whole question that we need to consider. Also, prosperity preachers say that healing is included in the atonement of Christ. In fact, as an Assemblies of God minister, as a pastor theologian, I believe the same. Healing is indeed provided in the atonement. But that doesn't mean that we will receive healing automatically just because we believe or confess. Yes, there is a provision. But, at the same time, we must give room for God's sovereignty as well. So, what prosperity preachers say is that all you need to do is to believe that we are healed and we will be healed. They make it as simple as that. It's not all complex. It's very simple. Believe and you will receive it. For example, Kenneth Hagin's son, Kenneth Hagin Jr., teaches that healing is a forever settled subject. So in other words, Jesus provided healing for us 2,000 years ago. So there is no need to debate about it. You just need to receive it by faith. The problem with these teachings, Pastor Shine, is that they totally leave it up to the person who's receiving healing. In other words, the whole onus or the burden is upon the person who's believing for healing. Jesus already did his part. God has already revealed that it is his will to heal us. So if you're not receiving healing, probably you don't have adequate faith, or there's some sin in your life, or you're not making positive confessions, or you're not giving. So think about this. There are so many godly Christians who fail to receive healing. And some people have chronic diseases, all their lives. And they are made to feel guilty. They say, there's nothing wrong with God. He's already provided healing. If you're not receiving it, there's something wrong with you. You need to pray for that. You need to ask God for that. So that's the kind of teaching that they give, and it is so devastating for godly people who go through sicknesses. The thing is, no room is left for praying for God's sovereign will to be done. So that's the whole problem. And also, we need to realize that we live in a fallen world. So until the end of the present age, both Christians as well as people from other faiths will encounter sickness. Bible never guarantees that we will be completely free of sicknesses on this earth. As long as sin is on this earth, sicknesses, which is also a consequence of sin, will be present on this earth. And God never promised that Christians will be totally immune to sickness as such. In fact, this will happen only in the new heavens and the new earth, where sin and all its consequences, including sickness, will be banished forever. So some Christians will fall sick, and some Christians will never be healed from sickness. Now, when we talk about whether is it God's will to heal us, again, some theologians make a distinction in the wills of God. Some say when it comes to antecedent will of God, or the perfect will of God, yes, God desires that all should be healed. God desires that everyone should be saved, 2 Peter 3:9, but not everybody gets saved, right? So God desires everybody to be healed, but then there is also consequent will, which is consequent to the fall. God permits certain things. He reluctantly allows certain things to happen. And we keep seeing sicknesses and diseases and plagues and all of those things. So we need to realize that sometimes God allows these things, and it is not necessarily His perfect will as such. So, is it always God's will to heal us? I would say yes and no. In His perfect will, when we talk about antecedent will of God, yes, He wants everybody to be healed. But then sometimes for His own sovereign reasons, He doesn't choose to heal His people. Also, we have to realize that, healing is not ultimate. Even if we get healed from a certain disease, we may fall sick again and die due to that sickness. So, absolute healing, complete healing is possible only after our bodies are resurrected and glorified. So, what we get to see in this world is only a glimpse of the future healing that we're going to receive in the new age.